Hello and welcome. I am Exit Light, and this is my podcast. Probably the last before the new year. Hello, Rob.
Hello, JC. How are you?
I'm getting better.
Good.
A little bit fainty, but not nearly as fainty as before, and so I think that's progress. It's always progress if you're not fainting. So, Rob, tell me, how was your Christmas?
It was okay. Bit anticlimactic now, but same as everybody. But yeah, it was good. The girls enjoyed it, so that's all that matters.
It was kind of strange, wasn't it?
It was, yeah.
Well, did you get any particular gift that you thought was your favorite gift?
I
Like
got a
maybe a
really.
Google?
Oh, my Google's. I better not say it too loud. It'll wake up.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really nice. But I did get a really, really nice Manchester United calendar.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
It's really, really nice. It's one of my favourite gifts, actually.
really?
Yeah, I love Manchester United. And I'm
Oh,
still
I
waiting for
didn't.
some Manchester United stuff to come.
Are you?
Mm,
Oh, somebody must really care about you.
yeah, this is awkward.
You must be somebody's BFF.
Can't imagine who.
I just do not know. Well, I had a very um, stressful and strange Christmas because on Christmas Eve, my daughter called me to tell me that she had just tested positive for COVID. As you know, she has a
Yeah,
6-month-old baby. My daughter-in-law tested for positive for COVID a couple weeks ago, um, and they're the ones that had the baby that was born at 27 weeks. So it was while everybody waited for their COVID results. My other daughter and her boyfriend, my daughter's husband, their 6-month-old baby. It was it's been 2020. That's all I have to say. My Christmas was 2020. And it felt weird being all alone and not all alone. My husband, my youngest son, but just different. Although we had 4 days of literally just lounging around, watching what we wanted to watch, reading, playing games. It was a lot of fun, actually, that part. So that did go very well. But my daughter is knock on wood, me, superstitions, seems to be handling it. She got put on medication the very first day she tested positive, so that's good. And her husband and baby came back negative today, and my other daughter Maya came back negative today.
oh, nice one.
So that's a sigh of relief. And then they're going to get tested again, like this week sometime, and double check that they didn't get it from being around her. But not Maya. She's not going to touch her other sister with a 10-foot pole. But so we have all their Christmas presents to still pass out, but we're not going to. Nobody wants to drop them off outside of our house. We're just like, you're good. But yeah, it was just very strange. It didn't really feel like Christmas, I can say that.
Yeah, a lot of people have been saying that.
Yeah. But I did enjoy the time we had with just me and the boy and the husband, and just, I mean, we literally cooked Christmas dinner the morning after Christmas at 1:30 in the morning. And the next day, we heated up leftovers and had it at 3 o'clock in the morning. We were just not on a schedule at all. Just whenever we woke up and we're like, we're hungry. It was great. I had to talk my husband down from opening presents at 12:01 on Christmas morning. I just don't. I like the anticipation. I want to anticipate Christmas, which is literally, and you know this, Rob, what I started doing on December 26th. Anticipating next Christmas. You know me. You know me. So I like the anticipation best. But it was nice. So anyhow, I hope you guys had as good a Christmas as you could have, and everybody's safe, feeling okay.
Yep.
This year, when it shuts the door, I think that'll be good. Although I'm not sure next year is going to be a whole lot better, but this has been one crazy ass year.
It certainly has. It certainly has.
All right. What are we doing today, Rob? Oh, wait. Before we get started, maybe I should do this. If you are not subscribed and you would like to be, and for those of you who are, maybe you should recheck and make sure you are, because I've heard that YouTube is doing its thing. Go ahead and click that button. If you would please give this video a thumbs up and share it. That does a lot for my channel. Also, if you want to be notified when my content goes up, then go ahead and click that bell. And if you feel like leaving me messages that just simply say, "You're breathing," though, to show your irritation with my breathing, you can just go. Just feel free to not let the door smack you where the good Lord cracked you. Because I actually got a comment that said that. "You're breathing, though." Yeah, actually, it's my trying to breathe. See? People are so kind, aren't they? They're so
Yeah.
kind. Oh, maybe I should stop. Oh, yeah, I did. It didn't work out that good. This is your face, though. I don't know, Rob. That one put me in a bad mood. Sometimes I literally have to just tell myself to not type. Do not type. This is not the time to write back with a laundry list of my grievances.
Leave it.
Yes. Walk away. Who cares what this random person says? All right. So, do you want to start with your? Because we're not just doing Deathrow inmates' last words, but I'm going to do some of their last meals as well.
Yeah.
And because I find that to be interesting. Because I know, what would you order as your last meal if you're on death row?
Oh God, what that's KFC.
Somebody did order that. I'll tell you. Somebody very
KFC.
famous ordered KFC. I'll tell you. I would order something that had prison keys in it.
I would order something that took me about 6 months to eat.
I think I would. I don't know. I don't feel like I would be in the mood to eat. I can say that. I don't think I could. I would order anything, to be honest with you. But people do. Can I tell you that in 1790, Thomas Bird became the first person to be federally executed under the United States Constitution. He was hanged on June 25th for piracy and killing the captain of a slave ship. He used his last words to proclaim, He was innocent of murder. From Julius and Ethel Rosenberg to John Wayne Gacy, Ted Bundy, Timothy McVeigh, some of the most notorious criminals in history have been put to death. And we're going to talk about it. This will not be monetized. Want to make a bet?
Not really.
So, who's your first person?
Jose Villages.
How do you spell it?
Villeges. A.S. Sorry. Village Gas. I don't know. If he's Mexican, I think.
Villejas.
Hey?
Villejas?
Could be, yeah.
No, I think G
Could
is an
be.
H. Villejas.
Villejas.
Okay.
Right. Excuse me. I'm very bummed up, so I have to apologise to everybody.
You should maybe explain what that means. I do believe it means something different here, but
I'm really full of
you've got a stuffy nose.
stuffy nose.
Okay.
God. I have to drag it into the gutter every time.
Just saying that bunged up is quite a bit different here.
Right, okay. Well, I'm UK bunged up.
Okay.
I'm very sniffly. Like that.
Yes.
Right. He was convicted of fatally stabbing his ex-girlfriend, her young son, and her mother 13 years ago at their home in Corpus Christi, Texas.
Mm.
The lethal injection was carried out after his attorneys unsuccessfully argued to the U.S. Supreme Court that he was mentally impaired and ineligible for the death penalty. He said, "I would like to remind my children once again I love them. Everything is okay. I love you all. I love my children. I'm at peace." Just as a dose of pentobarbital was beginning to take effect. It does kind of burn. Goodbye.
Isn't it phenobarbital?
He just said pentobarbital now.
Oh.
He said it does kind of burn. Goodbye. He gasped several times and began to breathe in quietly. Within less than a minute, all movement had stopped, and he was pronounced dead 11 minutes after being given the lethal dose. Dun, dun, dun. Bye-bye.
Okay, mine is Abel Reveal Ochoa. He was 47. He fatally shot his wife, his father-in-law, his sister-in-law, his 7-year-old daughter, and his 9-month-old daughter. Good riddance. His execution was February 6, 2020. His last words were, well, let me say this. Ochoa was arrested minutes after the murders. He gave a written confession and said he killed his family because he couldn't take the stress anymore, and he was tired of his life. Well, I have a suggestion.
Kill yourself.
Yes. You lived and they didn't. So how did that work out for you? What a douchebag. Okay. This is his last words. I would like to thank God, my dad, my Lord Savior, for saving me and changing my life. Everybody finds Jesus when they're on death row. I want to apologize to my in-laws for causing all this emotional pain. I love y'all. He must be in Texas. I love y'all and consider y'all my sister I had never had. I want to thank you for forgiving me. Forgiveness is a funny thing.
Yeah.
No, I don't know about that. His father-in-law, his sister-in-law, his 7-year-old daughter, and his 9-month-old daughter. He's apologizing to his in-laws. Okay. I consider y'all the sister I never had. Well, thanks. No thanks. Okay. You're up.
Thomas J. Grasso was a 32-year-old double murderer executed by lethal injection at Oklahoma State Penitentiary. On March the 20th, 1995, he strangled Hilda Johnson, an 87-year-old woman, using her Christmas tree lights. On December the 24th, 1990, in her Tulsa home, he stole $8 from her purse, $4 in loose change, and her television set, which he sold for $125. 6 months later, after moving to New York with his wife, Lena, he murdered Leslie Holtz, an 81-year-old man from Staten Island, stealing his Social Security check. Grasso was executed in Oklahoma on March 20th, 1995 for the two murders. He requested for his last meal SpaghettiOs, but instead he got given spaghetti. I don't know what the difference is.
Well, SpaghettiOs are those pasta rings or something like that you call them.
Spaghetti hoops, we call them.
Yeah, spaghetti hoops.
A spaghetti is just spaghetti.
The long noodles.
Right, okay.
Wait, do you not have spaghetti?
Yeah.
Oh,
Sorry,
okay.
we just don't really distinguish between the two, to be honest.
Oh, okay.
But instead he was given spaghetti and meatballs. His last words were, "I did not get my SpaghettiOs. I got spaghetti. I want the press to know this." But he must have
Wow.
said it the way it's spelled. He must have said, "I did not get my SpaghettiOs. My
That's,
SpaghettiOs."
well, petty to the end. Okay, Jimmy Glass, who was executed in 1987. On Christmas of 1982, 28. Wow, he got executed quickly. Moving right along. On Christmas of 1982, 20-year-old Jimmy Glass and inmate Jimmy Wingo escaped from jail. They shot an elderly couple. All right. They shot an elderly couple to death while Okay, I give up. What's wrong with my mouth? Burglarizing their home. They both blamed each other for the crime, and so they both got the electric chair. His last words were, "I'd rather be fishing." What a weirdo.
Yeah, absolutely. I had that one as well.
You did?
Yeah, it's fine. I've got 50 to choose from.
Okay. Who's next for you?
Richard Cobb. And this guy looks nasty. A nasty piece of work.
Really?
Yeah. Right. Cobb, 29, spent a decade on death row for the murders of Kenneth Vander, a man whom he abducted and later killed in a convenience store robbery 11 years ago. Cobb abducted Vander, then 37, and two other women who he shot with a shotgun and left for dead. The woman survived to call police, but Vander died. Cobb never denied his role in the murder. Right before his execution, Richard Cobb stared into the face of the Texas prison warden who attended his execution. Thursday night, he told him the lethal drugs just injected into his body were awesome. Life is death, death is life. I hope that someday this I can't say this word, absurdity,
Absurdity?
yeah, that humans will come to will and come to the end. Cobb said when asked for his last words, "Life is too short." I hope,
No thanks to
I,
you.
I hope anyone that has negative energy towards me will resolve that. Life is too short to harbour feelings of hatred and anger. That's it, Warden.
Well, that's what you should do. We should listen to him.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hang on, I'm not finished yet. There's still more.
Okay. Okay. Well, that was nice.
My ass. He said, according to the Associated Press reporter who witnessed the execution, but Cobb wasn't finished. At the first injection entered his bloodstream, Cobb lifted his head from the gurney on which he was tied down. He craned his back to stare at the warden who stood behind him. Wow, Cobb shouted, that's great, that's awesome. Thank you, Warden, thank you. Warden, he said soon after the outburst, his head fell back on the pillow, his neck twisted to an odd angle, his mouth and eyes open, and the AP reporter, 15 minutes later, he was declared dead.
Okay, mine is Clarence Ray Allen, and he hired a hitman to kill 8 witnesses who had testified him during his trial for the 1974 murder of his son's girlfriend. A paroled fellow inmate later killed 3 of them and was arrested in possession of Allen's hit list, which was used to convict him. He died by lethal injection on January 17th, 2006, and this is what his last words were. All right?
Yeah.
Hoka hey, it's a good day to die. Thank you very much. I love y'all. Goodbye. I think you can tell just how mentally ill some of these people were by their last words.
Yeah.
Like, are they sitting there saying, should I say something profound or something just completely fucking crazy?
Yeah.
Like, what was this? Who's the serial killer? I guess we probably will find out maybe, but who's the serial killer that said, I'll say hi to the devil for you?
It was a woman, weren't it? They were about to hang her.
Oh, was it Eileen Wuornos?
No, it was a long time before that.
Oh, then I might have her.
Yeah. Been on Ghost Adventures, that.
Oh. Okay, you got another one?
Ted Bundy.
Ooh.
Jim and Fred, I'd like to give you my love. I'd like you to give my love to my family and friends. Okay, let's have a look. Jim was one of Ted Bundy's lawyers. Fred was the minister who spent the night with him. He turned down his last meal. It says mean.
Uh-huh.
He turned down his last meal. Bundy was an American serial killer, kidnapper, rapist, burglar, necrophiliac, who assaulted and murdered numerous young women and girls during the 1970s and possibly earlier. Shortly before his execution, and after more than decades of denials, he confessed to 30 homicides that he had committed in 7 states between 1974 and 1978. That's not a long time to do all that. The truth was obviously not on piecework. He was on piecework. The true victim count will forever be unknown, but could be much higher than the number to which Bundy confessed. Many of Bundy's young female victims regarded him as handsome and charismatic, which were the traits that he exploited to win their trust. He would typically approach them in a public place, feigning injury or disability, or impersonating an authority figure before overpowering and assaulting them at a more secluded location. He sometimes revisited. We don't need to go into that, do we? Yeah. Well, he basically defiled the corpses that were decomposing. On a few occasions, he simply broke into dwellings at night and bludgeoned his victims as they slept. Bundy was executed in the electric chair at Florida State Prison on January the 24th, 1989. Biographer Anne Rule described him as a sadistic sociopath who took pleasure from another human's pain and the control he had over his victims. He once called himself the most cold-hearted son of a bitch you'll ever meet. Attorney Polly Nelson, a member of his last defense team, wrote Ted was very determined and heartlessly evil. And after all that, all he said was, Jim and Fred, I'd like you to give my love to my family and friends. Friends? What friends? You killed everybody.
Yeah, what friends? Although he did say that he had other serial killer friends. So, no. Okay, so I'm going to talk about Eileen Wuornos. Eileen Wuornos was a sex worker along Florida's highways. She shot several men between 1989 and 1990. She was convicted of 6 murders, sentenced to death, and her murderous rampage was made into a hit movie starring, I think you know this one,
Charlize
Theron.
Yeah, that's the girl.
Wuornos was executed by lethal injection on October 9th, 2002. I didn't realize it was 2002. This is her last words. Fuck, she's crazy. She wrote, I'd just like to say I'm sailing with the rock. I'll be back like Independence Day with Jesus, June 6th. Like the movie, big mothership and all. I'll be back. What? Those are your last words? What? By the way, I want to say that I'm sailing with the rock.
Oh, the rock, like Dwayne Johnson.
No idea. It's not capitalized, so I'm not sure. And I'll be back like Independence Day with Jesus. By the way, I've seen that movie, and I don't think that Jesus was in it. On June 6th, which also, for the record, Independence Day is July 4th. But I don't think she was big on facts.
No.
By the way, I want to say that Ted Bundy did turn down a last meal, but they gave him one anyway, and I have it. So I'll come back to that. Yeah, she was interesting. Who's your next person?
Oh, John Wayne Gacy.
That was my next person.
Well, you can do it. I'll do another one.
No, go ahead.
You
I'm
sure?
gonna do the one. Yeah, I'm gonna do the one that I talk about all the time. So go ahead.
Right. Kiss my ass. On his way to his execution, Gacy told prison guards, kiss my ass, according to his hometown newspaper, the Chicago Tribune. Last meal was 12 fried shrimp, 12-piece bucket of original KFC chicken.
There you go, KFC.
French fries, a pound of strawberries. Gacy was an American serial killer and rapist. He sexually assaulted, tortured, and murdered at least 33 young teenage boys and young men between 1972 and 1978 in Cook County, Illinois. All of Gacy's known victims were committed. All of Gacy's known murders were committed inside his Norwood Park Ranch house. His victims were typically induced to his address by the force of deception, and all of them but one of his victims was murdered by either asphyxiation or strangulation with a makeshift tourniquet. His first victim was stabbed to death. Gacy buried 26 of his victims in the crawl space of his home. Ooh.
It had to reek. It had to stink. How could it not? I don't know. Okay, so are you done with him?
Yeah, and just one last bit.
Mm-hmm.
Gacy became known as the Killer Clown because of his charitable services as fundraising events, paraded with children parties, where he would dress as Pogo the Clown, a character that he devised. I mean, there's other stuff here, but I don't think we need to go into it. To be quite honest with you,
Okay.
he was just a not nice human being. Well, human beings too nicer.
Yeah, but the weird thing about Johnny Gacy is that he was a completely functional person who owned a successful business, a cleaning business, which is how he encountered some of his victims, home
Yeah,
cleaning business. So it's really, I mean, this is an example that we talked about on our nature versus nurture thing.
yeah,
So, all right, my next one is somebody I talk about every time we talk about serial killers, so don't be surprised. Wesley Allen Dodd. And if you haven't been here and heard my story, I lived in Washington State when Wesley Allen Dodd was executed. Me and my roommate sat on the floor in front of my TV. I don't know why that was the choice. And watched the coverage of his execution. And the reporters were standing outside the prison, of course, because you can't see anything. And it was the first time that I ever realized that, like, it like struck me. I mean, like there, he was a horrific monster. Um, and if anybody ever deserved the death penalty, this guy was one of them. But it occurred to me that, like, when they came out at like 12:02, they do executions, I think, at 12 a.m. in Washington State. Came out and said that he had passed away, and it occurred to me that there was no bump in the universe. The world didn't tilt for even just a second. It just kept going on, and it was very strange. I don't know, and I like cried about that knowledge. Not that this guy died, although his circumstance was, I'll tell you in a second, but just that the world in general is a heartless place to be. It was really weird. Like, not that I'm not against death penalty. What I mean is, it just, this actual world, Earth, does not acknowledge. It just keeps going,
yeah,
and that was really like enlightening to me for some reason. I'd had friends die too before, but it just, I don't know. Just knowing the exact second somebody died and then being like, okay, anybody want to order a pizza? Was really weird. Okay, so he was a convicted serial child molester, and I will not go into the details of what he did because it is horrific. He was executed by hanging on January 5th, 1993. His last words were, I was once asked by somebody, I don't remember who, if there was any way sex offenders could be stopped. I said no, but I was wrong. He begged that people would not try and stop the death penalty from going through because groups who were against the death penalty would um, try and stop it on his behalf. And he begged them not to because he said that if he got out, he would um, continue to be the monster he was. So that was kind of a that was another thing that was interesting about this guy. He thought he was possessed by demons, and the only way that he would not be a child molester would be to kill him. So that was in that whole thing was very interesting.
yeah,
He it's I don't know. That's a whole other thing. Like, you know, he just knew that the demon inside him was gonna stay there.
yeah,
Weird. It was just weird. It was creepy. It was all the things.
yeah. It's quite profound that.
It really was. I mean, it almost. I don't want to. It's hard to. It almost made you a person have a little tiny bit of. I don't want to use the word
Compassion.
sympathy, but yes, compassion, which of course he didn't deserve really, because I mean, ultimately, what he did to children was inconceivable. But then again, if someone does believe that there are demons and they can possess a person, then, which he clearly did, then how horrific for, I don't know. He really basically committed suicide by using the government to kill him.
Yeah.
I don't want to get anybody's comments talking about you can't show sympathy to something like that. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that it was the first time I ever heard somebody say, like, I'm possessed by a demon. I told not as an excuse. He wasn't using an excuse. He was using it as why you have to kill me. Not to get him off, not to get it claim insanity, but why he needed to die. He totally agreed with that.
Yeah.
That was the weird part. That was the like, whoa. So anyway, that's that.
Yeah. My next one is a guy called George Apple.
Huh.
And his last words were, "Well, gentlemen, you're about to see a baked apple." Had the electric
Okay.
chair.
I guess he
Excuse me.
decided to go the smartass route.
George Apple was convicted of first-degree murder by killing a police officer in New York City in 1928. The court sentenced him to death by electric chair. While being strapped to the fatal device, he laughed to the officers. "Well, gentlemen, you're about to see a baked apple." Although the electric chair was long been a symbol of death. Although the electric chair has long been a symbol of the death penalty in the United States, its use in the decade due to the rise of lethal injection, which is widely believed to be more humane method of execution. Why is it going on about that? They allowed the prisoners to choose lethal injection as an alternative method in the state of Kentucky. The electric chair has been retired, except for those whose capital crimes are committed prior to March 31st, 1998, and who choose electrocution. Inmates do have. Oh, let's move on. This is all cocked up.
I think you can choose in Washington between hanging and the lethal injection. I don't know if they do the death penalty in Washington anymore. Texas does, like, I don't know, every second Thursday. Okay, this one's Kimberly McCarthy. McCarthy went to the home of 71-year-old neighbor in Lancaster, Texas. You don't want to kill people in Texas. I'm just saying. They don't. You're going to death. Under the pretense of borrowing some sugar before stabbing her to death. She was accused of killing 2 other elderly women in 1998, but she never faced trial. McCarthy was killed by lethal injection on June 26, 2013, and her last words were, "This is not a loss. This is a win. You know where I'm going. I'm going to be home with Jesus. Keep the faith. I love y'all. Thank you, Chaplain." Everybody finds the Jesus.
It's like doing some kind of stand-up routine.
I know. Yeah.
For my next song.
Yeah. I don't know.
Just crazy.
Okay. Yeah. After yours, I want to do one that is really, really creepy and strange. And they say in this that there was a movie made of this, and the movie made up the what I'm going to tell you about, but that's not true because I watched a documentary and I saw the letter that I'm going to talk about in the documentary. So it's I don't know why they're saying it's not true when it's made up by the movie. Um, I don't understand what the purpose of that would be, but it's very interesting. You guys are gonna have nightmares about it. Okay, Rob, what's your next last words?
H. Holmes.
Oh,
Take your time, old man.
you said that to the executioner?
Yeah. Herman Webster Mudgett, May the 6th, 1861 to May the 7th. Sorry, May the 16th, 1861 to May the 7th, 1896, better known as Dr. Henry Howard Holmes, or more commonly known as H. Holmes, was an American serial killer in the 19th century. While he confessed to 27 murders, only 9 could be plausibly confirmed, and several of the people who he claimed to have murdered were still alive.
Whoops, Dumbo.
He, he is commonly said to have killed as many as 200, but
Oh
the
my
figure
gosh.
is only traceable to the 1940s pulp magazine. Many victims were said to have been killed in a mixed use building which he owned, located about 3 miles west of the 1993 World's Fair
Yeah,
Columbian
expedition.
Expo, yeah, supposedly called the World's Fair Hotel, informally called the Murder Hotel, though evidence suggests that the hotel portion was never truly open for business. Besides being a serial killer, Holmes was
Well,
also
nobody said it
charged.
was. They said the people were killed there.
It's crazy. Besides being a serial killer, Holmes was also a con artist and bigamist. He subjected more than 50 lawsuits in Chicago alone. Many now common stories of his crimes sprang from fictional accounts, and later authors took them for fact. However, in 2017, biographer Adam Selzer wrote that Holmes' story is effectively a new American tall tale. So basically, what they're saying is that a lot of it's fantasy made up, and he they're saying that he killed up to 200 people, but the majority of that cannot be proved. And like he says, a lot of the people he's supposed to have killed are still alive. He's before he confessed to numerous he confessed to numerous other killings, but he couldn't tell you who these people were. He just said I've killed X amount of people, and when they tried to find out who it was that he actually killed, he didn't know.
Oh.
Um, in this country, we call that being full of shit.
Yeah, we call it that same thing here.
And his last words were, "Take your time, old man."
Hmm. Okay, so this one is creepy. And by the way, Rob, we have so many that don't you think we should like make this into 2 or 3 podcasts?
Yeah, probably, yeah, because it's yeah.
Okay. Um. So here you go. The crime. The person who was convicted of this crime, by the way, is Johnny Frank Garrett. Um. Crime was on Halloween in 1981 in Texas. What? Sister Tadia Benz was 76 years old. She was a nun. She lived in Amarillo's North east section of town. She was found dead. She was not only dead in the bed of the convent where she lived, but she had been viciously and brutally killed in her room at St. Francis Convent. Sister Tadia had been strangled, violently stabbed, and before life left her, repeatedly violated by an attacker who was at the time unknown to the police. Nuns found her the next day. This wasn't the first death in the area of that sort in Amarillo, and not the first death of an elderly woman who lived alone. Months earlier, another woman had been attacked in the same way and strangled to death. In the spring of 1981, 10 other elderly women had been beaten and raped in the same area. In fact, the same night that Sister Taddea was murdered, a woman just a few blocks west of the convent had also been attacked in the same way and beaten into a coma right before Sister Taddea had been killed. Obviously, there was something wrong in Amarillo. So, they're trying to find the person who did this crime, right? And that's
Yep.
when a psychic called into the newspaper. The psychic's name was Bubbles. And if there isn't somebody that I would trust and believe, it would definitely be a psychic named Bubbles.
Bubbles.
Yes.
Sorry.
Yeah. Bubbles reported that she had seen the killer in her dream. The killer, according to Bubbles the psychic, was a teenage male living near the convent. Bubbles had tracked down the killer and found his house. Bubbles led the police right to him, and thus 17-year-old Johnny Frank Garrett was arrested for the rape and murder
Excuse me.
of Sister Taddea Benz. Keep that in mind. He's a 17-year-old boy. Well, here's the problem. There were allegations that he had confessed. The police wrote down the confession for him and had him sign it. He was housed with a convicted murderer. There was evidence such as semen samples from the body, but they were thrown out prior to trial because they didn't match his. Witnesses placed Garrett away from the convent at the time of the murder. Although Garrett would admit to occasionally sneaking into the convent to steal things from the church. He was sentenced to death, as one tends to be in Texas, despite having no evidence of him committing any even this crime or any other crimes other than Bubbles, the psychic. The DNA made the case against Garrett. In 2004, DNA from those murders conclusively linked another man who was already in jail in New Mexico.
He'd already killed him?
Yes, to these murders. Garrett had an IQ of a third grader.
Oh.
He was mentally slow. Incapable, claimed his defense, of committing these murders. Even if, I mean, he was very childlike. So they gave him lethal injection in 1982. So he was killed a long time before they found that the DNA proved that it wasn't even him. But here's the weirdest part, okay? This says to legend, but like I said, I actually watched a documentary on this. Garrett's last words were those at the top of the article, which are, "I'd like to thank my family for loving me and taking care of me, and the rest of the world can kiss my ever-loving ass." because I'm innocent. But here's something else that's very creepy. He also had some other words to add in the addition of a letter he had written to those who had a hand in the conviction of what turned out to be an innocent man, basically a child. Gifts in the form of a curse on everyone that was involved in the conviction and his execution by the hands of the state. And after his execution, things certainly did go south. Here we go. Are you ready?
Yeah.
One juror, Novella Sumner, fell down a flight of stairs and died a few days later from complications. Juror Nathan Shackelford's daughter died from an accidental gunshot wound to the head. His sister was run over and killed by a drunk driver. Garrett's trial lawyer, Bill Collius, died of pancreatic cancer. Garrett's first appellate lawyer, Bruce Sadler, and post-conviction trial judge, Sam Kaiser, contracted the same form of rare leukemia. Kaiser died after initially being cured. His healthy bone marrow, collected in case of reoccurrence, inexplicably disappeared from the hospital, so they couldn't use it to cure him. Jimmy Don Boydston contracted leukemia and died. Officer Walt Yeager also died of leukemia.
Wow.
NBC reporter Kathy Jones died in an airplane crash. Medical examiner Ralph Ederman was convicted of numerous felonies for falsifying autopsy reports. His medical license was revoked and he was sent to prison. His wife died of pancreatic cancer. Eugene Heavy Duty Patterson was found dead in his vehicle. Cause of death was never determined. Watley, a jailhouse snitch who testified against Garrett for a reduced sentence, committed suicide. Carol Moore, Garrett's school teacher who testified against him at trial, also committed suicide. District Attorney Danny Hill also committed suicide. His daughter hung herself a few years later. One of Garrett's many appellate attorneys, Jack Blackburn, lost his wife when she committed suicide. His son was accidentally locked inside a hot car in Houston, permanently brain damaged. Finally, Ann Richards, who was the governor of Texas at the time, contracted cancer twice and finally succumbed to esophageal cancer.
Wow.
So was it a coincidence that he cursed everybody that had to do with his trial? And 14 people and some of their loved ones, so more than 14, did end up dying within a few years. Some from very rare cancers, many from leukemia, many from pancreatic cancer. These are not common. Airplane crashes, suicide was one of the top reasons for dying. And his mother was pretty happy about that.
Yeah.
She said that she believed that his curse worked, and she was glad it did.
Yeah.
So, interesting, right?
Yeah. Very spooky as well.
That is spooky. Imagine having this person who, I mean, he was 18 years old, had the mentality of a 8-year-old, yet he came up with this curse. I heard some people think that his mother helped him write it.
Yeah. Yeah, must have done.
Yeah.
Will you do the next one?
Yes, sir, I will. I'm going to do some last foods.
Just need to get something. Is that okay?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Yes.
Be back in a minute.
Okay. All right. The last meals of some criminals. Let's hear about this. What do you think? Okay, guys. Um, Dubbed the Vampire of Dusseldorf for his habit of trying to drink the blood from the wounds of some of his victims, Peter Curtin was a German serial killer sentenced to death in 1931 on 9 counts of murder and several counts of attempted murder. His last request: Wiener Schnitzel, fried potatoes, and a bottle of white wine. He enjoyed it so much that he asked for seconds of all of it. In most prisons, it is rare for inmates to be allowed alcohol. However, murderer Gary Gilmore, there's a movie about him, was allowed 3 shots of Jack Daniels whiskey. That's probably all I would ask for. And his hamburger, baked potato, hard boiled egg, and coffee prior to his execution in 1977. Known as a serial clown for his work as a performer, well, Rob just told us he asked for fried chicken, KFC to be exact, but they didn't tell him if they actually got him KFC, fried shrimp, french fries, and a pound of fresh strawberries. In 2011, Texas prison officials made the decision to disallow death row inmates the privilege of a final meal because, after racist killer Lawrence Russell Brewer's huge request, which was 2 chicken fried steaks, a triple meat bacon cheeseburger, fried okra, a pound of barbecue, 3 fajitas, a meat lover's pizza, a pint of ice cream, and a slab of peanut butter fudge with crushed peanuts went completely uneaten. Let's see. Ted Bundy, as we said, refused his meal, but the prison provided him one anyway. They gave him a medium rare steak. They gave him eggs over easy, toast with butter and jelly, hash browns, milk, coffee, and juice. Before the September 11th attacks, the Oklahoma City bombing was the deadliest act of terrorism within the United States. I've been to that site. If you are ever in Oklahoma City, I would recommend going. It is something to behold. The man responsible for the attack was Timothy McVeigh, who was executed in 2001. His meal was 2 pints of chocolate chip ice cream. Although the details remain unconfirmed, according to some sources, former Iraqi dictator Saddam Hussein was given permission to eat his favorite meal before his death in 2006, which was boiled chicken and rice, paired with several cups of hot water and honey. Adolf Eichmann, which might be a familiar name, he was a Nazi colonel convicted of war crimes and executed in 1962. He declined a meal, but he requested, this is really interesting, he requested a bottle of caramel, which is a dry wine from Israel, where the Jews live. He drank it with the typical prison fare of cheese, bread, olives, and tea. He should have met the inside of an oven. Eileen Wuornos, her last meal was a cup of coffee. Stanley Tookie Williams, he was a gang member and convicted murderer. While he was in prison, he took up bodybuilding, and at a young age, and he cut an imposing figure. He was executed amidst much controversy in 2005. On the day of his execution, he refused his special meal, and he ate nothing but oatmeal and milk, which would be the last thing I'd want. In an act of selflessness, Tennessee inmate Philip Workman asked that a vegetarian pizza be distributed to any homeless person in Nashville. His 2007 request was denied by prison officials But some local groups decided to fulfill his wishes. I don't know why you would, and donate pizzas to the homeless shelters. If you want to donate pizza to homeless shelters, don't do it in the name of a convicted serial killer. I'm just saying. Um, in 1979, Marion Albert Pruitt, who was a guy, went on a killing spree that claimed the lives of 5 victims. He was convicted, placed on death row in Arkansas. He ate only a portion of his sizable last meal. And this is not a portion, in my personal opinion. He had 3 bites from one of the 2 cheeseburgers he requested, 6 slices of an 8-slice pizza. He had 8 slices of fried green tomatoes. He ate half of his onion rings. He didn't eat his fries, but he drank a quart of buttermilk and had a slice of pecan pie. That is not a portion. That is a week's worth of food. The man convicted, it's ridiculous. The man convicted of murdering Charles Lindbergh's baby, Bruno Richard Hauptmann, opted for a final meal of chicken, buttered peas, french fries, olives, celery, cherries, and a slice of cake before his execution in 1936. In September of 2010, Teresa Lewis became the first female convict to be killed by lethal injection in the state of Virginia. Side note, she looks like a dude. She was convicted. I wouldn't have known. She was convicted of killing her husband and stepson. Her final meal request: sweet peas with butter. Rob, this is for us. Sweet peas with butter, fried chicken, German chocolate, and a Dr. Pepper.
Yay.
Yeah. Dubbed the tourist from hell. Well, you should definitely be put to death for that. John Martin Scripps was found guilty of 3 murders and become one of the first Westerners to be hanged in Singapore since the country's independence from Britain. Everybody was trying to get away from you, Rob. I'm sorry about that. He asked for pizza and a hot cup of hot chocolate for his final meal. 1996. Fritz Harman, the butcher of Hanover, was a German serial killer who was executed by beheading in 1925 for the murder of 24 boys and young men. His final request was that he could smoke an expensive cigar and drink a cup of Brazilian coffee. Convicted murderer Ronnie Lee Gardner enjoyed his last meal of steak, lobster tail, apple pie, vanilla ice cream, and 7-Up 2 days before his execution by firing squad in Utah in 2010. Holy shite. Do they still have a firing squad? I've said this before, but I mean, for anybody new, my grandfather was a pastor and he attended executions, and he attended firing squads. And for those of you who don't know, but depending on your age, with a firing squad, only one person actually has a bullet.
Yeah.
But they don't want you to know if a live bullet, live ammunition. They don't want the person who kills them to know it was them. Even the pastor who's attending doesn't know who the person was that actually killed them. Although it still seemed to have the same mental effect on everybody in the firing squad, even if they didn't know it was for sure them, because it could be them. And that's why they stopped the firing squad, was
I
because
know a funny
they were
story about
having.
firing squad.
Huh?
I know a funny story about firing squad.
Well, that's interesting. But because 5 or 6 people would still have the consequences on their shoulder, and so nobody would volunteer for it, and that's why they got rid of the school firing squads. I guess not here though, not in Utah. They do it the old-fashioned way. He chose to spend his final days fasting, reading the spy thriller Divine Justice, and watching the Lord of the Ring films. What's your funny story about a firing squad?
Bloke was facing the firing squad and he said, "Have you got any last requests?" He said, "Yeah, can I stand behind the wall?"
Oh my god. Nice. Oh my god. In 1950, spree killer Charles Starkweather declined an offer of steak for his final meal and opted for cold cuts instead. Stephen Wayne Anderson, sentenced to die after fatally shooting an 81-year-old California woman in 1980, asked for 2 grilled cheese sandwiches, a mix of hominy and corn, and a pint of plain cottage cheese. He topped it all off with a piece of peach pie, a pint of chocolate ice cream, and radishes. Well, that was an interesting combination. And oh, for rapist and murderer John Elliott, he asked for a hot cup of tea and 6 chocolate chip cookies in 2003. Odell Barnes, a convicted rapist or murderer, put to death in Texas in 2000. I think Madison did a story about Odell.
Yeah.
Asked for a final meal of justice, equality, and world peace. I'm sure that was shoveled right into his mouth. Delbert Teague did not ask for a final meal on the day of his execution in Texas in 1998. However, at the request of his mother, who I read in another story, literally came in and yelled at him for not eating, he ordered a hamburger. Power of mothers. Perhaps she should have talked him out of being a serial killer. I don't know.
Yeah.
Murderer Cleve Foster asked for a 5-gallon bucket of peaches, 2 fried chickens, and French fries. 2 fried chickens, whole chickens. But he then received a reprieve from the Supreme Court, so he never got to enjoy that meal. He was ultimately executed in 2012. Well, bummer for him.
Do you know
Victor, what?
the guy that asked for the cup of tea and the cookies?
Yeah.
What do you think's the best biscuit for dipping?
Well, I wouldn't dip anything in tea, but I would say chocolate chip, sugar cookies. Oh no, ginger snaps.
That's a good idea. Just
I've
wondering, do you
been
do that in
craving
America?
ginger snaps. Dip cookies? Oh, shit, yeah. In milk, usually.
Oh no,
Although I
it
suppose people do it in tea or coffee or whatever.
makes them go soft and nice.
Yeah, I love ginger snaps.
You don't
I've
have
been
hobnobs, do
craving
you?
ginger snaps. We don't have what?
Hobnobs.
Hobnobs. Well, we might have them as some other name. What are they?
They're like a wheat type of cookie.
Oatmeal or wheat?
Wheat, not oatmeal.
I don't know what a wheat cookie would. No, I don't understand that.
Oh, just wondered. Anyway,
Are they good?
yeah. They don't go soft when you dip them, though.
Oh, really?
No, they're like the special forces of biscuits. They just scream at you, "Dip me now, dip me again, dip me, dip me, dip me."
Remember that time I called you and you'd had a little bit too much to drink? That's exactly what you were saying. That's weird. What a weird coincidence. Oh my god.
Can I just completely change the subject? And I'm really excited. I've just had a notification from Amazon. The rest of my
Yes.
stuff's been delivered today. Yay!
Isn't that the best feeling?
Yeah.
It is, isn't it? I don't want to sound like a total douchebag right now, but I have somebody who picks up my packages. I'm just gonna say that. And delivers them to where I live, my apartment. Um, I'm, that's their job, and
White
um,
privilege.
I know. I
If that's not
they're
white privilege, I don't know what is.
they're called the concierge, and I know they hate me. I'm sure I'm addicted to shopping. I'm positive. But here's what's happened with this whole COVID thing, and the fact that I'm immunocompromised, which apparently doesn't matter. You can still get sick as shit even if the only trip you ever take out of the house are to the hospital, I guess. Um, um, I have to order stuff like my husband will go grocery shopping, okay? But then there are things that I specifically want, like the type of shampoo I specifically want, and I'll send him a picture, and he'll come home with something that doesn't even resemble the picture. So, in my own defense, I order stuff like hair care products, moisturizers, from Amazon, and that that is brought up by this lovely lady, and so it's not that I'm shopping for like, oh shit, I need stuff I don't need. It's but I the thrill of ordering it online and having the notification that it's coming, I don't know. It is like a drug.
Yeah.
And my husband, my husband, my husband does this. Uh, I think we need new puppy pads. Why don't you feed your addiction and order some from Amazon? And I was like, got it, on it. Pull my phone out. Whoop, they'll be here tomorrow.
I
Oh,
think
it was terrible.
they should ban Amazon and not Amazon and eBay shouldn't be allowed to sell stuff during the night,
Oh God, that's the worst.
especially if you've had a drink. In my case, it's like
Yeah.
a day. I'm spending money I haven't got.
See, that's the worst. Or no, I've done that. Okay, 3 o'clock shopping is the fucking worst. Sorry about that word. I I 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the morning. There are things that for some reason I ration that we probably need. Like we could probably use some new sheets or the shopping channel QVC,
Oh
and they'll
no,
be
I
like,
don't watch that.
they'll be like, you can get this on 5 easy payments. No, this is a true story, you guys. So, sorry. So one night when my youngest son was, oh, I don't even know, like 9, 8, maybe 9. His dad was out of town. He was laying in bed with me, and I don't even know why we were watching. I know why. It was July, and they were doing Christmas in July, which, as anybody who knows me knows that my life revolves around Christmas, and horror. What could be better? So I saw these icicle lights. Okay, for the record, they lasted for 5 years, so they were a good deal. But for some reason, I looked at Josh and I was like, "Do you think we need icicle lights?" I lived in an apartment. I couldn't put them around a tree or anything, right? Do you think we need icicle lights? And he was like, "I like them." So I ordered 2 sets of these icicle lights because they were on clearance for like $4.50 a string. Huge icicle lights, and they were 5 easy payments. So I was making payments of like $1.25, which thrilled the shit out of me. And we ended up putting them around our sliding glass door in the apartments. And because my husband was like, "What? Why did we?" I don't know. It was 4 o'clock in the morning, and there's just something about that time of night that you buy the dumbest shit. It should
I
be
buy
illegal. I think you're right.
I can't go on QVC anymore. I keep buying stuff in my kitchen that I think I need and I don't.
I write the kitchen stuff. Oh no! And they're like, it's so amazing. Everything's so amazing, and they have us. They can talk for 15 minutes, literally about a pen, and it's just stunning. I like to have it on sometimes just for the sound of their calming voices when they're talking about something as amazing as this pen. But then sometimes something will catch my ear, and I'll be like, do I need a pan that fries donuts? You
Yeah.
know, you know, I could actually make donuts? Shit. Why haven't I thought of that before? Yes, that's a 4 o'clock in the morning purchase. I have to say this. Sometimes I do send my regrets back to Amazon. But Amazon isn't really my regret thing. It's something like QVC that has 5 easy payments. I don't know, Rob.
I've
That's why
got
I
an
have to
egg
talk to
poacher.
you.
I
You
have an
do?
egg poacher that goes, well, put it this way. I ordered it. Did I order it? Well, I've got it anyway. And I don't know how to use it.
Rob, my husband, when he was traveling, was in a hotel. Some commercial came on at night on this amazing way to cook eggs in a microwave, and he bought that shit.
Ooh,
And he's
sounds good.
yeah, except for it didn't work.
Didn't work.
No, it didn't work. The eggs wouldn't come out. He couldn't peel them. They were breaking. He was like, yeah, that was a waste of money. But for only $2 more, he got a second one, and you can't beat that. We got 2 egg things that don't work. I don't know. Maybe we're not alone.
Yeah.
I don't know. Get me looking for socks on Amazon, and as a matter of fact, I just bought a pair of socks that says, I'm the ringmaster of this shit show.
Not saying anything.
Well, you know it's true.
The cat
You know
fits
it's
and all
true.
that.
Yeah, I know. That's why I got them. You know why I got them? I got them in case I go to the hospital again. I'm going to wear them. That's how my mind works, Rob. It's how the mind works. I don't know. You should know as well as anybody that it's a little bit crazy over here.
Yeah, very, very.
Watch it now. You're getting your presents delivered today.
Ooh.
Yeah. Rob, we spent an hour and 18 minutes talking about foods and last words. Should we make this into another podcast sometime?
Yeah, we can do. Yeah.
Do you have anybody that you're just yearning to tell us their last words?
Yeah, just this one goes. Carl Panzram.
Okay.
Hurry up, you Hoosiers. Hurry up, hurry it up, you Hoosier bastards. I could hang a dozen men while you're screwing around.
Hoosier bastards.
I don't know what that means.
Hoosiers. It's like it's people who are from what state are the Hoosiers from? You guys, like you're gonna answer me right now. Let's see, Hoosiers. Um, let's see, Hoosiers football. Let's look at that. They're from Indiana.
Okay.
So yeah, there's rivalry. So interesting. It'd be like saying you Yankee bastards.
Well, this guy was obviously um, he was a jack of all trades
Uh huh.
because Carl Panzram was an American serial killer, rapist, arsonist, and burglar. In prison confessions and his autobiography, he claimed to have committed 21 murders, most of which could not be corroborated, and over 1,000 sodomies of boys and men.
What?
Oh.
What? Don't repeat it. Don't repeat it.
After after a series of imprisonments and escapes, he was executed in 1930 for the murder of a prison employee at Leavenworth Federal Penitentiary. Panzram was hanged on September the 5th, 1930, as guards attempted to place a black hood over his head. He allegedly spat in the executioner's face. When asked for his last words, he responded, "Yeah, hurry it up, you Hoosier bastards. I could kill a dozen men while you're screwing around." His grave at Leavenworth Penitentiary Cemetery is marked only with his prison number 31614.
Hmm. Interesting. Well, I got one food that's left. Can I do that?
Yeah.
Okay. Victor Figure, I think it's Figure, is perhaps better known for his final meal of a single olive with the pit still in it, and for the fact that he was the last person put to death in the state of Iowa, than for the murders that actually landed him in the gallows in 1963. Do you know why he had that olive with the pit still in it?
Oh.
Now, this is 1963, so did they do embalming then? I mean, like, I don't know why I asked you. Are you an expert on embalming? Well,
Well, actually,
if don't
it's
tell
funny you
me,
should
I
mention.
want to have plausible deniability. Um, anyway, maybe they didn't, but he had the pit in it so that when he was buried, it would grow an olive tree. So maybe they didn't have embalming back then, which is actually kind of smart, don't you think? He wanted to grow the olive tree as a symbol of peace. Oh, that's really weird. That's by P.S. That's a way for me to become a tree. Huh? That's weird. I wonder if it worked.
Don't know.
That was kind of smart, don't you think?
Yeah.
Huh? I don't know if I would have been an olive tree. Something like apricot or apples.
Yeah. Apple
The
tree.
smaller seed to have small swallow too.
Yeah.
Also has arsenic in it, so apple seeds do.
Do they?
Yeah,
I
yeah,
didn't
they have
know that.
arsenic in them. Yep, you're not supposed to eat the apple seeds. Nor are you supposed to feed them to dogs. Like my Labrador, she loves apples, but you have to make sure to get the seeds out because you can kill them because of the arsenic. So I have a whole jar full of apples. Never mind.
Oh dear me.
No, but it is true. Not me having a jar of apple seeds, but
That means I've got to get rid of mine.
that one I sent you.
Yeah. How would it so?
That's what it was for. We're being recorded. All right. Well, why don't we say goodnight? And if we're not here by, well, I don't think we're gonna be here again by the new year. So let's say Happy New Year. And you guys remember last year when it was 2019 and it was like, oh my God, we're stepping into the future in 2020, and then the world exploded? Let's have a lot. Let's lower our ambitions for 2021. What do you think? Although we did find out from the government that there's UFOs. Yawn. Um, it was a strange. It went by exceptionally slow and then really fast. Like between March and July, it felt like 18 months.
Yeah.
And between March and July, as I told you, I was self-medicating over the grief of my father by watching Shark Tank, which not quite sure I understand the psychology there, but it helped get me through. And by the PS, a lot of the Christmas presents I bought this year, I saw on Shark Tank. But then it's just like after that, it just kind of slingshotted me to the end of the year. And now here we are.
Crazy.
I had a new grandson this year. That was good. I can't see him. It's let's just keep our expectations kind of low for this year, this upcoming year. Because we got a whole lot last year, a whole lot. It's enough to keep us going for a while.
I saw a thing about the new year, and it said people keep going on about 2020, but do they not realise what year it is now? 2021. And they wrote it 2020, and instead of one WON.
Oh, that's funny. Oh shit.
So 2020 might have been a good year.
I don't even want to think about it getting worse. Yeah, it was weird, but historical. Like my daughter was crying. She said we couldn't celebrate my son's first Halloween. We couldn't celebrate his first Christmas. He didn't get to wear an outfit that said baby's first Christmas. They didn't get to leave the house because she has COVID and they're all in quarantine. And I said, yeah, but take pictures because years from now, when you're talking about his first Christmas, all the babies born the same year are going to be like miracle babies. And, it's going to be, these 2020 babies are going to kick some ass.
Yeah.
So I told her, I said, if we can next year, we'll put him in my first Christmas outfit and call it a day. I think everybody agrees that we can wipe the slate clean for this year and start over. Am I boring you?
Me. No, it's early.
It's early for me. All right, Rob.
Okay, love.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, everyone. Good morning, wherever you are.
Yes, good morning. And have a good New Year's. Stay in the house. Social distance. Wear your mask. Don't kill people, okay? The least we can do. It really is the very least we can do is not kill people.
Oh, dear me.
All right, you guys.
Okay.
I'm going to go make sure Rob gets tucked back into bed.
Okay.
All
Thanks
right.
for that.
I'll talk to you later.
All right, bye.
Bye.